NRL Round 21, and despite all of the dramas that week in, week out keep us entertained in rugby league, eventually come 7:30ish on a Friday, they suit up and play football. I'm talking about the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles.
Oh, hasn't it been another week of dramas? Obviously, they were brilliant against the Warriors last week. They love that backs against the wall. They love that investment. I think
they love the world hating them.
It strengthens the football side. I think the Manly football side, the players themselves, will probably have to make a pact to say, this will be the last time we'll be together. This is our best opportunity to win.
They could have made that pact 15 times this year.
Yeah, I know, but they're going to break up. They are going to move on. And I think the Broncos are on a bit of a slide. I think Manly will win comfortably.
Okay, the Bulldogs, they get Josh Reynolds back after that little holiday following the Origin. They take on the Panthers, who have got no Peter Wallace and are starting to get a little shaky at the moment.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit wobbly, aren't they? Obviously, Jamie Soward will have to stand up. He's been on record this week saying a grand final is what he's after. I don't know if that's in their radar at the moment. They're certainly hitting a struggle street. Josh Reynolds brings that X factor back to Canterbury. They're a predictable football side without Josh Reynolds in. He plays a bit off the cuff. He adds a bit of energy and everything else that the Dogs currently need, because they're in a bit of a form slump at the moment. But I think the Dogs, probably a scrappy game, but the Dogs win.
Sharks haven't been in the headlines this week, and even though they won a game on the weekend, still plenty are predicting the Eels can back up their win against the Gold Coast.
Were very good, the Eels, last week. I think Jared Hayne, it was about a 15-minute period where he was just absolutely brilliant.
Well, Cardi said as much. He just said the difference was Jay Hayne.
Yeah, and I think, the Sharks won scrappy game of football last week. I think eventually a good football side will blow them away, and I think Parramatta are that side riding into the finals, a good forward pack, good execution. I think Parramatta need to win this one.
Speaking of teams in form, the Cowboys have got rid of the travel sickness pills, and they're onwards and upwards to the finals.
Yeah, that's right. Back home now after being away for 2 weeks. Jonathan Thurston is the key for this football side. If Jonathan Thurston plays on ball as the key halfback, they are such a good football side. Matt Scott returns from a little bit of a spell, so that's a bit of a lift
bonus,
from
yeah.
The Titans. It's hard to know what they're going to produce. They were brilliant against Newcastle. They were extremely poor last week. They're a hot and cold side. I think the Cowboys win at home.
Okay, the Anzac Day game is normally a blockbuster, the Roosters and the Dragons. This is the non-Anzac Day game, but still plenty of interest and plenty of spite.
Well, the Roosters are horrible. The Roosters' discipline has come back and has affected them. They've got no Sonny Bill for the next 3 or 4 weeks. I think the halves are out of form. A side that is going to go under the radar, and I'm going to tip a big upset, is the Dragons. I think they're a good football side. I think they'll challenge the Roosters. And I don't think the Roosters can flick a switch anymore. I've been predicting they will flick a switch. Too many dramas. Dragons upset.
The Raiders coach Ricky Stewart said his team made New South Wales Cup errors on Monday night, and you're a coach of one of the New South Wales. You would have been offended by that, because I thought you blokes play all right. But anyway, they take on the Warriors this week.
Yeah, certainly a tough battle. I'm playing against Souths on Monday, who were just too physical for them, too big, ran over them. That's what the Warriors will bring on Sunday. It's a battle for pride for the Raiders. They're playing to avoid the wooden spoon. There is no one they can bring in to make any changes. There is no way they can change predictions. It's about trying to get the best out of the players. I think the Warriors, with Sean Johnson back, have a day out. Okay, well, no John Sutton and no Sam Burgess for the Rabbitohs you would expect this week against the Knights up in Cairns. Might make life a little tough. Oh, I think the new halves are great. I'm a huge Luke Keary fan. I think he brings a bit of ad-lib football to them, and they have a bit more momentum because he seems to move on to the football. Him and Reynolds. Reynolds had his best game of the season last week, under pressure to keep his spot. Newcastle were very good on the back of Tyrone Roberts, but I think they struggled this week because they had to win for Alex McKinnon last week. It was a game they let go. Rabbitohs in a good victory. Okay, and we wrap it up with the Tigers, who have just got more problems than you-know-who, up against the Melbourne Storm, who you're predicting to start an unbeaten run into the finals. Yeah, or continue an unbeaten run. Continue an unbeaten run. I think the best 3 players in the competition, when they're together, they play extremely well. Cooper Cronk is fresh, and you just don't know, with another few days before this game happens, what other exploding do the Tigers get up to? What happens there? The young kids, they don't handle the pressure in Melbourne to win. Okay, let's have a look at Noddy's tips there. On screen, Manly Bulldogs, the Friday night specials. Eels to beat the Sharks. Cowboys at home. The Dragons over the Roosters in a bit of an upset. Warriors comfortably. Rabbitohs the same. And the Storm to continue a pretty ordinary week for the Tigers.